The birth of a new Pulsar is something which is very, very emotional to me personally. And it signifies the advent of sports bikes in our country. Whether it be from any manufacturer across the spectrum, even going beyond 1000 cc. Because it's the Pulsar which, what we call, really instilled that spark of performance in the mind. The new 200 RS is here for us to play with today. Important bike because it really quantifies what, in essence, a evolved motorcyclist would want to have on his two wheels. But at the same time, this is a bike which makes the newer, younger generation biker also take to it in a very easy manner. To really look at the new 200 RS, we also have got its two earlier siblings. The first of the lot is one of my favorites, the 220F, which was the fastest Indian, so to speak, at that time. It really set new standards. It still looks smashing today. And after that, we move on to the newest of the breed, which came about 2 years ago in the form of the 200 NS. This is the Bajaj iteration of what is an evolved power plant, which you also see from a certain Austrian bike maker. What the 200 NS did was make the bike in its original Pulsar genes. Street fighter looks, never say die approach. But the market has evolved. It has gone beyond many a idea which was there 15 years ago. And the latest idea is probably the finest iteration of what we think a sports bike should be for India. It's got the looks. You can see a hint of the BMW S1000RR here in the front end. This has got geometry which will make your grandmother happy if she knows how to balance herself on the bike. This is a machine which can delight the Valentino Rossis of this world. This is a bike which will not break the bank. And this is a bike which you will never want to get off. You'd want to ride and ride and ride. To do justice to the Pulsar, the 200 RS, I have with me my colleague Priyadarshan Bhavikar, who should be here anytime to join us on this journey to really get the excitement flowing. I think I hear him now. Oh, there he comes. So PD, I think that I can see the smile even through the dark visor of your helmet. I think it's a hoot, is it?
Absolutely. I had a wild smile plastered all over my face through the whole track. It might look like a sport bike, but it absolutely has that Pulsar DNA, the Pulsar lineage. It feels like a proper, fantastic road-going street bike.
So do you think that this machine can do its business in the real world as well as it does on the track?
I think it comes close to doing that, definitely. We'll do a proper comparison and then tell, but I think it comes close to being that perfect all-round machine.
So PD has already given a hint about where this program is going, and no better way to do it than to hit the track astride the new Pulsar 200 RS.
Now the letters RS in the name of this new Pulsar, according to Bajaj, stand for Race Sport. And true to its name, the bike gets a full front fairing. This is also the first bike from the company to be fitted with a fairing of this nature, and though it looks like no other Pulsar we've seen before, it is actually based on the Pulsar 200 NS, which was launched 3 years ago.
Pushing the envelope on all fronts has been a Pulsar hallmark. Whether you take design, you take technology, you take dynamics, you take ergonomics, you take every aspect, the touch and feel points. But there has been a tremendous progression from what we thought was cutting edge 5 years ago to what it is 3 years ago and what it is at the present. These three bikes exemplify why the Pulsar has never been a static target. Every other bike maker tries to close in on the Pulsar, but then by the time it comes close to it, there's been another quantum jump. So everyone is always playing catch up. This is a bike which is very much different from the 200 NS, and I'm not mentioning just because of style, because many will say it's still got the same frame, same tightly packaged engine, power plant, the lines are the same, but no, dynamically it has got a lot going for itself thanks to a critical 8mm reduction in the wheelbase. The swing arm has been shortened, a lot of geometry at the rear and the front has been tweaked, making it far more agile, sharper, more planted, more confidence inspiring, and of course the lines are completely cutting edge. They are encapsulated in the style of some of the 1-liter superbikes the world has seen. So the design wise, overall Bajaj has always tried to emphasize tightly packaged mechanicals. The mass is all centralized. Even the sort of exhaust on both these bikes, they really play a big role. But this bike has got one more thing going for it when we speak about exhaust. Its rotty roar is something which no other Indian bike packs.
Speaking a little more about design, even though the RS200 has been based on the 200 NS, the two bikes don't share a single common panel. The RS also gets twin projector headlights and a very uniquely designed tail light that also doubles as the rear number plate holder. The only thing you'll find somewhat similar between the RS200 and the 200 NS is the instrument cluster, which pretty much retains the same design.
Now while Adil has been talking about the design evolution of the Pulsar, I've been having an absolute blast just putting this little bike all around this Bajaj test track, and it's been a hoot. Now while in terms of design this bike is a revolution for a Pulsar, in mechanicals it's more of an evolution. It is evolved from the Pulsar 200 NS. It retains the same sort of perimeter frame, it retains the same engine, but it's got fuel injection now, so it makes one more horsepower. It's 24.5 PS of power, 18.6 Nm of torque, which means you get a little more performance from the bike as well. At the same time, you get a little better throttle response. The bike is a lot crisper in the way it responds to your input on the throttle. Now Bajaj says that this is the fastest Pulsar ever, which can clock 141 km per hour. On the straight at Bajaj test track, I clocked 146 on the speedo, which means yeah, it will hit 144 in real life, no problem at all.
Some really in-depth attributes of this bike are worth mentioning. Let's start with engine performance. This is a bike which will scream its way through the gears right up to 11,000 RPM. And a track like this with a longish straight is something you need to really enjoy this. You can, if you are working in the RPM band between 8,500 to 11,000, this bike screams its lungs out. What is also impressive is the clutch actuation, the gear shifting. This is of another league altogether. Tremendously precise, very sure-footed, and absolutely a delight.
The other big difference in the bike, of course, is the way it handles as compared to the 200 NS. Now that's thanks to the rake. The rake has been now pulled a little bit inwards, which means the wheelbase is shorter. The bike turns in much quicker as compared to the 200 NS. At the same time, it doesn't feel twitchy at all. It holds the ground really well, it holds the line really well. Overall, it's an absolute fun bike to ride. Even though in terms of the ergonomics, it's not really a proper out-and-out track bike, it's still more of a street stance. The bars are raised, the foot pegs are not that far back. It's not as extreme as something like the KTM RC200. It sort of blends the best of both worlds. It blends street riding as well as the occasional track riding in this one little perfect package.
The The impeccable handling of the RS200 is aided by a good set of brakes, which provide some great feel as well as bite. The front pedal disc is now enlarged to 300mm while the rear disc stands at 230mm. There is also a version of the RS200 available with single channel ABS, which works only on the front wheel of the bike.
Must mention about the ABS quality. This is unobtrusive at its best, but so sure-footed in its grab and bite. Progressive as well, something which our roads deliver. And the final icing on the cake, I must say, all the performance, all the braking, all the steering would have come to naught were it not for the rubber this bike is equipped with. This is again a quantum jump for an Indian tire manufacturer. And so the whole package is what delights.
And speaking about packages which delight, the non-ABS version of the Pulsar RS200 is priced at Rs 1.18 lakhs ex-showroom Delhi, while the ABS-equipped version comes in at 1.30 lakhs.
The mercury is close to 37 degrees here on this sunny day. But boy, can I tell you that this is one yellow mean scorcher. Same with the red-colored 200 RS. We have been scorching the track. Do you think we need to do more, or do you think that this bike wants you to keep on riding beyond the sunset and all that?
Adil, most definitely. I'm itching to get back on the track. How about it?
Yeah, of course, we have got to do that. This is one bike which, if the KTMs have what you call lit a flame in your hearts for performance, think about this bike. It can do virtually 99% of what the KTM can do, but keep on doing so in the real world, whereas the KTM is a sharply focused track tool. What is important is this is performance of the enthusiast kind for the masses, and that's a big statement. Coming from Bajaj Auto, you always know that price and value proposition compared to the performance always going to be a given, and it is a fact of life. Trouble is, I know that Bajaj will come up with another Pulsar 2 years down the line. We need to have a steady stream of savings every 2 years to be able to upgrade to every generational change in the Pulsar. This is what Bajaj has been doing, and we have to thank them for that. It's the Mac computer philosophy. You don't want it, or do you? You always want it. You might not need it, but you always want it. And this is the Pulsar. I'll also stretch my one feeling, tell me if I'm wrong, but having ridden all the bikes made in India from all the manufacturers here, and when I say made in India, is not that screwdriver assembly job, I'll stick out my neck and say that this is probably the best motorcycle ever produced in this country.
I think, Adil, I agree, absolutely. It's one of the best bikes that we've seen so far.
And ridden as well.
Ridden as well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm really itching also to put this up against its competition and see really where it stands.
I don't care about that, but right now, enough of words, I'm hitting the road because this bike beckons. Too many words, let the track do the talking, and the bike really speaks to the track and the rider and vice versa. Great job. Let's see it out in the real world as well in a couple of weeks' time.